So a couple of days ago, we asked you for your questions about the complex situation here in the Middle East, and some of you have responded to us. And we've taken some of those key topics, and we're going to be answering them here in a few short videos. So what are the chances all this can end in peace for the Middle East? Well, all conflicts do come to an end. And I think the question at the moment is, how long will it take? And because this conflict goes back generations, many generations, it's going to take longer to solve. The deeper the history, the deeper the problems, the more deep-rooted it is, the more it's fixed in certain ways in people's minds and positions are hardened. So I think the diplomatic process is going to take some time. But there will be a solution, that the military avenues will all be tried, people will get tired of them ultimately, and they'll want peace, and that's when it can really happen. So will Israel respond to Iran's attack, and would that escalate the situation? The answer is almost assuredly Israel will respond, because they believe in deterrence. They believe the way to keep themselves safe is through deterrence. They believe that they have to act for themselves out of their own interests. They look at their own history and look at the Holocaust in World War II and feel that if they don't take the steps to protect themselves, then their enemies will gang up on them, Iran being behind those enemies. So there will be a very clear deterrence message sent by Israel. The question is, if Iran feels that these are affecting Iran's existential right to exist, or its existence, or its interests, then there's going to be a response from Iran. So how Israel responds is absolutely connected to how and if Iran will respond. So the potential for escalation absolutely is there. So the question is, how is the UN involved here, and what power do they have? Well, they're absolutely involved behind the scenes diplomatically, trying to bring parties to a table to get a ceasefire. They're involved with dealing with the outfall of conflict, if you will, displaced people in Lebanon, looking after people in Gaza, humanitarian supplies, shelter, all those sorts of things. But when it comes to effectiveness diplomatically, look at the UNGA just last week, the UN General Assembly. So many of the world's top diplomats were there. There were talks about trying to bring a ceasefire with Hezbollah and Israel, but it was ineffective. And part of the reason the UN is ineffective is not viewed by Israel as being objective. It is viewed as being partisan. And if a mediator is partisan in this, then they're going to find it hard to broker peace between two parties. What is the United States' relationship with Israel, and why are they providing funding to them? The United States' relationship with Israel goes back to the founding of Israel, because the United States believed coming out of World War II there needed to be a safe place for the Jewish population, but they have shared interests with Israel. They view Israel as a democracy, as an important ally in the Middle East, as a country that provides political heft in the region, diplomatic heft in the region, military heft in the region, intelligence sharing in the region. And the United States recognizes that it needs to support Israel financially to achieve that. Israel has over the decades become a country that is strong economically, that's able to pursue its interests in the region. But the United States shares those interests, and the best way to make that relationship strong and keep Israel strong, the United States believes, is to continue that funding coming in. I think the big takeaway has to be that this is deep-rooted, and people have lived through this. It's complicated, and they feel it passionately. This has been in people's lives since they were born. It's been in their parents' lives since they were born. I've been coming to the region now for over 30 years. I've been back in Israel for most of the past year since October 7th. This is passionate, and it's passionate because it affects people's lives, and that's why the views are so strongly held, and that's why people disagree so much about what happens here. So that's what I would say. The takeaway is, when people disagree here, it's because these are such deeply held views. How effective is Israel's Iron Dome? It's very effective. It hits many of the incoming missiles that have been fired at Israel. And I've got an anecdotal answer for that. I was in a house where there were many rounds of missiles being fired into the village where we were, and they were being intercepted by the Iron Dome. We were relatively safe. The Iron Dome was removed, and immediately those missiles were impacting right around where we were. You could see a massive change It was much more dangerous without the Iron Dome. Iran attacked with ballistic missiles. They fly to a very high altitude, are very fast, and come down with a massive payload. So Israel used not only Iron Dome, it used David Sling, which intercepts those higher altitude missiles, and it used the Arrow defensive system, which targets high altitude as well. So it was relatively effective. We don't have a precise number, but it absolutely, with the help of the United States too, blunted the effect of Iran's strikes. Israel's Iron Dome can protect the country on multiple fronts, provided it has enough Iron Dome systems. They have limited areas of operation. They link in together by computer. They automatically detect where the threat is coming from, but you need to have them located where those missiles, close to where those missiles are coming in or coming down. And that means you need a lot of Iron Domes to protect all the country all the time. So would Israel's Iron Dome be able to intercept or neutralize a nuclear bomb? The answer to that is no. Nuclear bombs can be dropped from an aircraft. They can come in on a ballistic type of missile. But if you intercept a nuclear bomb over your country, the way that the defensive systems work right now, there's the potential that it detonates over the country, and that would leave a radioactive effect and a massive electromagnetic pulse across the country if it were to detonate.